Hey guys, what's up? So, this is going to be a rant video. And I didn't plan on making it, but I think it needs to be said. Now, this rant is going to be both about a non-real world topic that I've talked about before and a current real world topic. That is, firstly, the Star Wars haters, aka the Fandom Menace, and secondly, the riots and protests that occurred in Minneapolis because of the murder of George Floyd. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, those two issues aren't connected at all. And you're right, they're not. But I decided to talk about both of them because Jeremy Griggs, aka the Fandom Menace King, aka the #1 Star Wars hater, aka the YouTuber Geeks Gamers, recently retweeted a video of the mayor of Minneapolis talking about the riots in response to the murder of George Floyd. And in the tweet, the tweet was captioned by Jeremy as saying, quote, "I guarantee this guy likes TLJ," or "I guarantee this guy is a TLJ fan," referring to the mayor of Minneapolis, and TLJ referring to The Last Jedi, which of course is the most controversial Star Wars movie, and the Star Wars movie that has caused countless alt-right man-baby YouTubers to bitch and moan for the last 2.5 years. They have continued to bitch and moan about it for 2.5 fucking years. Now, it really just blows my mind that Jeremy Griggs thinks there's a fucking connection between riots in response to the murder of an unarmed African American man and to the 8th Star Wars episode. He actually thinks that there is a connection between the two, and I gotta say, this just proves beyond a reasonable doubt how stupid and how pathetic and how fucking desperate for attention these alt-right man babies or fandomisters are, and just how they constantly talk about and bash this movie and bitch about it even though it's been out for 2.5 years and they still haven't moved on from it. I'm sorry, but as I've said before, that is the definition of fucking pathetic. And it's even more pathetic to think that there's a connection between the two. And to think that the mayor of Minneapolis said what he said because he's somehow a fan of The Last Jedi when there's no evidence of that. And that Jeremy Griggs really is just making it up to push his alt-right neo-Nazi fascist agenda and his just blind hatred of the new Star Wars content and his blind hatred of progressive politics and his blind hatred of social justice, which is just him pandering to his brainwashed mental midget audience. I'm sorry. That's just the clear facts, and that's clearly the reality of the situation. Because what person makes that kind of connection between the death of a fucking African American man, or I should say, the freaking intentional murder of an unarmed African American man, and a fucking fantasy movie? What kind of person makes that connection? An idiot desperate for attention. That's who. Because, again, it just, when I saw this tweet a couple hours ago, it literally blew my mind as far as the stupidity of it goes. But it also didn't surprise me in the sense that the fandomenters like Jeremy Griggs will just pick and grab at whatever points they can to push their blind hatred agenda, not just against the new Star Wars content because they're so biased against it, but also push their agenda of blind hatred against social justice and progressive politics. That's just how arrogant and selfish and pathetic and just hate-filled they are, and it's ridiculous. I mean, really, if you don't like a fucking movie, just say so and move the fuck on! Stop fucking dedicating all your time and energy to hating on a fucking fantasy movie that you just didn't like. Okay? A normal person does not do that, let alone a Star Wars fan does not do that. Constantly bitches about a movie they didn't like. They say they didn't like it and move the fuck on. Okay? A normal person does not constantly hate on it for the next 2.5 years just for the money and attention. Because that's really all the Fandom Menace does. They constantly bitch and complain about The Last Jedi and all new Star Wars content and Captain Marvel and just all this shit that they hate because they want the views, they want the attention, and they want the freaking money from their YouTube channels and from their subscribers and their views. That's all it is. Like I said in my rant video about the Fandom Menace, they do it for the profit and they do it for the attention. Not because they care about the truth or they care about facts. They do it just to get attention because they think it makes them appear cool or popular. When, again, the reality of the situation is, hating on something big like Star Wars or Captain Marvel does not make you appear popular. It just makes you look stupid, and it makes you look pathetic and clearly desperate for attention. Their freaking hate for The Last Jedi has essentially blinded them and made them go to the point where they just can't accept reality, okay? If you can't accept the reality that The Last Jedi happened, and if you can't move on from it, and if all you do is bitch and whine about it, and if that's all you dedicate your energy to, then one, you have no fucking life, and two, you just have nothing better to do with your life. You have no fucking life if that's all you do. You're just desperate for attention, and you're just so desperate to make other people agree with you. And you successfully brainwash your audience into blindly agreeing with everything you say. Okay? The thing about Jeremy Griggs and the thing about the Fandom Menace is that all of them are basically cult leaders. Yeah. The fucking Fandom Menace, or the Star Wars hate group, is a fucking cult with people like Jeremy as the cult leaders. Because they've successfully brainwashed their audience into blindly following them, into blindly thinking and believing whatever it is they say is the truth or is fact. Same can be said for Trump and his supporters, and same can be said for Hitler and his supporters. Anyway, if you liked this video, subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching. Bye.